All right then. All right, welcome everyone to Awesome Game Replays, episode number 17. And in this episode, we're checking out the New Zealand story and Liquid Kids. We check out two platformers from Taito. New Zealand story 1988 and Liquid Kids 1990, and both originally arcade games. Also have several ports as well. And in this episode, the guest and player of the replays is AstralAlgorithm. So, welcome once again, Astral.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. And happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day, indeed. Yeah, I guess that's one of those things. Like you mentioned too, we might try to make a connection to like some love aspects in the games to Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it is funny that it would work out that way. You know that.
Well, it's like
our connection.
Yeah. Well,
our
so many
connection
arcade
seemingly
games
got lost in the maze before, so it's kind of perfect that it worked out this way.
Yeah, well, it's like so many arcade games just have that as the overarching theme too. It seems, whether it be
Sure.
like Arthur from Ghouls and Ghosts, like with Prin or whatever it may be,
Right.
But yeah, I'm curious to see what it is exactly. I mean, what's going on in these games as well. But yeah, so New Zealand story and Liquid Kids. Why don't you talk a little bit about New Zealand story, since this is the first game we'll be getting into, and we're gonna be taking a look at One Credit Clear that you did for us as well, and talking about some other stuff just about the game itself.
All right. Well, yeah, it came out in 1988, and the main character is a kiwi bird, hence the name New Zealand story. Kiwi are flightless birds native to New Zealand. Actually, at around the size of a domestic chicken, kiwi are by far the smallest living rarities and lay the largest egg in relation to their body size of any species of bird in the world. It's a national symbol of New Zealand, the kiwi bird, and the association is so strong that the term kiwi is used internationally as the colloquial demonym for New Zealanders. And there are 5 species of kiwi. 2 are endangered, partly due to deforestation. In this game, I'm going to be controlling Tiki, the kiwi bird, and I'm going to be trying to rescue all the chicks that I come across, basically. All these chicks have been kiwi napped, as I've heard it put, and just going to be rescuing them, and ultimately rescuing the damsel in distress, or, basically the princess. And yeah.
Right. Yeah, to start out with New Zealand story, you gotta know exactly what's going on behind why it's New Zealand, and there's the map that you go through the game, right? That just shows you all the locations of New Zealand.
Right. Yeah, it's based on the actual place, and it's not really known why the development team chose a real life location to set the game in, but I've heard it rumored that maybe one Taito employee went on holiday there, but yeah, I mean, it's really neat how they did it, and it's also funny because the stages aren't necessarily accurate to New Zealand, but the stage names are, or the locations that the stages are based on, it's all accurate.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about that. So when you first start the game, it says on this title screen, this game will be dedicated to all maze game fans. Well,
right.
Yeah, so this is a platformer, but also they call it just a maze game, as if it's like a whole genre. So what's that all about?
Well, mazes have existed for a long time. Mazes are often used in psychology experiments to study spatial navigation and learning. And mazes are closely related to labyrinths. Oftentimes people get them confused, and they are very different, but labyrinths go back to ancient Greek times. In Greek mythology, the labyrinth was an elaborate structure designed and built by the legendary Daedalus. The function of the labyrinth was to hold the Minotaur, and Daedalus had so cunningly made the labyrinth that he could barely escape it after he built it. Also, the word labyrinth is widely associated with the word labrys, translated as double-edged axe. And Yeah, it's funny because, I didn't know much about mazes before I played this game. I had a couple like plastic ball maze games whenever I was a kid, but those got old pretty quickly, and that was basically my experience with mazes. But whenever I
Yeah, I think
looked into
I think I know
mazes,
the game you're talking about. I always forget the name of it though. It's this. It has like it's just like two knobs, and you like navigate a ball through a maze, right? So is
yeah,
that
I
the
mean,
one?
and there's a lot of different ball maze games. I've seen keychain versions where it's just like a little clear plastic box where you can look through it at any side, and it has all these passageways where you try to navigate the ball through.
Right, right.
But yeah, I mean, aside from that, I don't have much experience with mazes, but whenever I was reading about mazes because of this game, I came across a really interesting Native American legend, and it's a Pima Indian legend, and they're native to Arizona, if I remember correctly. But the legend says that when a person is born into this world, they enter a maze of life. The entrance is at the top, where he, translated as elder brother, is waiting to show the way. The legend tells of the dead ends, detours, and obstacles. It's the struggle to understand what can affect the physical, emotional, and spiritual growth that can guide them through the maze. At each turn, there's an opportunity to understand and appreciate the cycle of life and to gain strength to reach their goals. If the path is traveled in harmony and in balance with nature, the legend says that dreams and ambitions will be found at the center of the maze, where Ethoi, translated as sun god, waits, then passing them on to the next world.
Where does this reference come up from the game again? Like where like the connection there, just in general.
With what exactly? Just all of it?
Yeah, like the elder brother. Was the elder brother like a specifically example in the game for that character?
No, not necessarily. This
Okay.
is just a really interesting story that it has to do with mazes.
Okay,
But
in general, sure.
there is a relevance to the game. Actually, Ethoi, the sun god. It says that dreams and ambitions will be found at the center of the maze, where Ethoi, the sun god, waits, then passing them on to the next world. Well, it's funny because you've seen the heaven ending in this game, haven't you?
Yeah, I have once. Yeah, I forgot I mentioned that before too. Yeah, it's really weird. Sometimes when you game over, you go to heaven. In this game, which is really strange.
Yeah, and
It's
whenever
it's
you-
like a playable stage for like I don't know a couple of minutes or something.
yeah, I mean, it'll surprise you whenever you first have it happen. I definitely wasn't expecting it whenever it happened to me, but whenever you game over, instead of it, going to continue screen and counting down, it takes you to a bonus level and says, "Welcome to heaven." And if you can navigate this, typically in, they're difficult stages. They littered spikes all over the place to try to make it hard on the player. And if you make it to the end, there's like a goddess sitting. And if you reach the goddess, it says something like, Tiki went to sleep in the sunlight, but there was an exit through the underworld or something like that. I can't remember verbatim, but it definitely does mention the sun and has something to do with the afterlife there, I imagine. So there is some relevance there.
Okay.
But yeah, also the sun god's name, Ethoi. I noticed that the Greek word ethos, which is the basis of the word ethic, is the science of morals. The Greeks also use this word to refer to the power of music to influence emotions, behaviors, and even morals. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, so it's just all kind of playing to the metaphor that in life you go through mazes and you overcome things and you can discover things at the end of a maze or on the way through the struggles and stuff like that. So that is a pretty powerful metaphor to depict, and
especially with one credit challenge games, and how there's a reward at the end,
Yeah, it just goes.
Just
It also
rewarding.
helps us for like why we enjoy games too, like in general.
Right.
One credit clearing them, or accomplishing certain feats and whatever it may be, various shit games. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the game itself, and we can go into your 1cc replay, which you've been watching already a bit of. Actually, let's start the replay, and then we'll just get into talking about the game.
Yeah.
Now that we got a good base foundation there for the lore behind that may be hidden behind a game dedicated to Maze fans. Okay, I'm gonna do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. And so, like, yeah, the Kiwi guy. So, does he have a name? The Kiwi bird? I forget.
Yeah, his name is Tiki.
Oh, Tiki, right. Tiki.
Yeah, spelled Tiki.
So yeah, Tiki can jump and kind of floats around a little bit, and you can actually flap his wings to keep him like afloat for a little bit. Which I remember you mentioned you didn't know that for basically just a few days ago or something.
Yeah, I didn't know that until the day before yesterday. After I had recorded this run, so I actually don't flap anywhere in the game, and might have made some sections harder, might have made it easier. I'm not really sure, but yeah, if you walk off the edge of any platform and then you mash, I believe it's the A button, then you can flap and you can fly. I've actually seen a video of someone actually gain height after they were flapping, but
Yeah, you can like mash it rhythmically, and I've done it before, and it's super hard to do. But it's like
Wow.
you can't actually do it with the might of the Tiki, the Kiwi bird.
well, yeah, I just took the first warp in the run. I'm going to be taking a whole bunch of warps all throughout the run, basically to make the game go by as quickly as possible.
So you found the warps just by shooting at where they were located, like hidden in the background.
Well, what I did was whenever I was learning this game, I would play until I got to a point where I couldn't progress further, and then I would like address a video and try to see what other people would do in that situation.
Okay.
So a lot of these warps, I didn't really find them, and I'm not sure about how many other warps there might be either. I haven't explored looking for other warps, but I imagine there are other warps, especially on some of the later stages. One of the later stages, it's an enormous maze. I'm almost certain that there's some sort of warp there.
So there's like warps like almost everywhere, it seems.
Yeah, there's probably a warp. There might even be more than one warp on every stage, but
wow.
Again, I'm not really sure.
Okay,
but yeah, there's a lot of warps, and I'm definitely going to be taking a lot of them.
That's crazy, because when I played this game casually, like credit here and there, as I would, and I never found any of the warps. So, you kind of got to look for them, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, it definitely helps knowing that they exist, and how to expose them and all that. But yeah.
Suppose you would find one eventually, just playing the game, because like the enemies kind of come from nowhere sometimes, it seems.
Well, right here, I found this one by accident by going for those enemies.
Okay, yeah.
The one right below the boss, and that one takes you to stage 2-4, if I remember correctly, which is right at the octopus fight. I think it's an octopus boss that you fight, so you can skip this boss if you wanted to. And yeah, the pink whale. That's frozen and swallows Tiki whole.
Yeah, why is it frozen?
I don't know. I guess it was one of those Arctic whales.
It had to just stay frozen to be a boss for that one moment. Good effort from the pink whale boss, at least.
Oh, I should probably mention on this stage 2-1, if you play the Japanese old version of the ROM, which this is the New World version of the ROM, but if you play the Japanese old version, there's a trick, and that's probably one of the reasons why this ROM exists, the New World version. You can do a scoring trick and a warp trick where you can infinitely milk points and just keep bouncing back between a stage in the future and then a stage in the past. So then you can just keep on cycling through and racking up points. And presumably you could counter stop it, but it took me an hour and a half to get 1.4 million. So I guess it would probably take 10 hours to get 10 million. And I imagine that's where it would counter stop. Might not even counter stop though.
Maybe there's a better place to get more points faster or something.
Yeah, there's not just one place that you milk, you know, you kind of milk along the way. And yeah, there's like a trick to scoring, you know, you like go to where the enemies are dense, and there's also tricks to making them spawn as well.
Okay. Yeah, like isn't there like spawn triggers around for a bunch of them?
Yeah.
Like basically.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I believe that there are spawn triggers.
That's what I felt like.
This is actually one of the sections where you milk. You let those blue fire enemies build up, and then you zap them and keep getting points, and then you expose the warp by those 3 letters, the EXT. And then if you jump up close enough to the warp, it'll suck you through the floor. And you can keep on doing that over and over. And yeah, I skipped that chick to get to the warp.
Wait, did you have like a fire wand there?
Yeah, there was a fire wand.
That was awesome. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, there's some cool weapons in this game. There's like an alien ray gun, and yeah, there's a staff and the bow and arrow. I'm probably forgetting something, but
can you upgrade the bow and arrow then, or
no? The bow and arrow is just stock. Yeah. And there's no limitation on the amount of arrows that you shoot, but with the laser gun, there is a limitation on shots. You can run out of ammo eventually.
Oh, right. And then you have the different vehicles that we've been seeing you
use.
The
there's lots of different vehicles. The UFO is probably the best vehicle, and there's more than one UFO, but the only time that you see the other UFO is on one of the last stages, and it's very briefly. But the UFO is the best as far as handling goes. The big metal one that I just jumped on, that's probably the worst vehicle. It's really slow and really clunky.
I see.
You can also attach from the bottom and top on those vehicles. You know, you can get it to like attach to the top of your head. Typically, you probably always want to be on top. You're probably more vulnerable hanging from the bottom, I would imagine.
Sure.
And yeah, the vehicle system is really fun. There's a lot of really cool things you can do, or that can happen kind of randomly, that would almost be hard to plan or expect. But yeah, it's a really cute version of Grand Theft Auto. That's always kind of how I've looked at the vehicle system, because you know, you're always just kind of jacking people's rides. Like you hop up and knock them off and then fly off with their ride.
Well, it's like, what's he gonna do? Because kiwi birds can't fly, so he's gotta do something. He's gotta do something. He's taking control of the situation.
I totally forgot to mention, but there's a gauge in the bottom left that shows your breath whenever you're underwater. And you have to pay attention to that whenever you are underwater or you can drown.
So is the map as useful as it looks there? Just a square with the exit?
I never use the map really, you know, but it does help. I mean, you get to see a general direction of where the exit is.
Yeah, at least you can see where the exit is. You know what, I might not have even noticed the map when I was playing like the first few times.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of don't notice it myself, or, you know, I've never paid much attention to it, but yeah, I mean, if you were playing this game and trying to learn it just from scratch without like any sort of resources, the map would probably help a little bit.
Yeah, because you do take like wrong routes occasionally, and it gets annoying, so you don't know where the exact exit was exactly, even still.
I really like that section where I lure the enemies into destroying themselves, because like they'll just fly into the hazards of the level and wreck their own ships.
Perfect.
And yeah, another warp, and this is one of the hardest stages. I guess this is a pirate themed stage. The stage always reminded me of the Gimmick stage, you know, the pirate stage in Gimmick.
Oh wow, yeah, sure.
But Yeah, the stage is really difficult. As you can see, there's spikes everywhere. So if you touch those, you lose a life. Also, those guys, they'll pop your vehicle. Yeah, it's a really tricky level.
Oh man, yeah, that spawn point was kind of rough. You just had to get up. You had to get up there right away and to get those guys. Probably looked like, because otherwise they'd be falling down on you.
Yeah, it's a pretty tricky level. It definitely helps knowing what to expect and where the enemies are and all of that. And also the enemies themselves, their tendencies and that sort of stuff.
So usually, like, you wait for like a door with the enemies to open up, and you kill the enemies and just kind of move on, or don't those doors like come back eventually if you wait around?
Yeah, they'll come back. I mean, yeah, if you just hang around, especially like I was saying, I'm pretty sure there's triggers. So like if you go back and scan the right area, I'm pretty sure that you can make them come back even quicker as well.
Okay. Go into the barrel. Nice. Yeah, I never got to the pirate stage when I played.
Yeah,
this is like a whole new world at this point.
It's pretty challenging. It gets pretty chaotic right here too. I mean, it's not even over yet.
And then, how many stages are there total? Like, would you say like 40 or 50 or something like that?
I've totally forgotten.
I thought you mentioned a number last time we were talking.
It's either 20 or 30.
Oh, around there.
It's
okay.
One of those two.
Okay. It's not a ton of stages.
No, and I'm skipping quite a few of them because of all the warps and stuff. But yeah, I mean,
it seems like most stages are like the same. Well, actually, this one. I mean, yeah, the stages have different sizes because this one looks kind of like rectangular.
Yeah, and it was. I guess it would be in two sections because of the barrel, like transition section. But
oh yeah, gotcha. You're apparently at Mount Cook right now.
Yeah, Mount Cook, and this is the final world, the final set of levels. And I actually don't take any warps from here on out, but I imagine there are warps somewhere on these stages. Also, there's some weird items that are pretty rare, and I haven't even seen people talk about them online. Like whenever I was trying to read about this game, I never found any information about them, but there's a mirror item that whenever you get it, it'll take you to the very end of whatever stage you're on.
Nice.
So you'll just like fly through all the walls or the maze itself, and you'll end up right at the exit.
Yeah.
Or the boss.
Yeah, the game
also,
even definitely has
potion.
like that bubble bobble feel to it too.
Yeah.
If that comparison wasn't like obvious to some people, I think it's definitely there.
Yeah, there definitely is a vibe there, and
that's what I think. Right when you talk about like just a power up that just beats the stage.
Yeah.
Bubble bobble definitely has that, and warps, and the warp power ups as well.
Yeah.
Well, then, like so many games that Taito made too were influenced by Bubble Bobble, so it's like only natural.
Indeed.
Because there's like so many of them actually. Like there could be so many other AGR episodes on like Bubble Bobble clone games and stuff.
Seriously.
Yeah. So what you take another warp there? I missed what happened there.
No, that was just the end of the stage,
Okay.
and on to the next one.
Gotcha.
And yeah, this stage is one enormous maze.
This one looks particularly maze-like.
Yeah, it's very mazy. And yeah, it's funny because whenever I first played the stage, I ended up taking the right path the first time that I ever played through it. So I didn't have to go through the trial and error of like reaching any dead ends.
Then just
What
do
I
the
would
same
do
path
is
you
I would
took the
kind of
first
just
time. Yeah.
what I would do is I would just like inch forward, and I would try to pay attention to the walls and how they all met.
Oh,
And,
nice.
Yeah, from that I was able to just kind of pick the right path the first try, but yeah, there probably is a lot of trial and error that could go down with this.
Yeah.
Also some MC Escher artwork on the wall in the background there.
Yeah. Taito's always putting like artwork in their backgrounds.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have any good ideas for backgrounds. Let's copy some artwork that's famous.
Yeah, they definitely knew how to, pay homage to the greats.
Yeah. It was like a mural of like a fire guy. Like some fire guy just I don't know. The sun, that's the sun god, I guess.
I guess so. Maybe there's some more relevance there. Yeah, that guy isn't an enemy as far as I know. And yeah, I got too impatient there. I should have waited, but
Yeah. People are talking about Tiki DLC for gimmick, I guess, in the chat.
I could actually picture that. I mean, that doesn't actually sound that outlandish.
Tiki ROM hack.
Yeah, someone make that happen. Trap 15, do the Tiki ROM hack, bro.
Although you've seen the Gim Boss hack, haven't you? The one where he has the glasses. Like,
that's glorious.
Maybe Beckered then could make the. I think he might like the New Zealand story. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, if he can do it, yeah, that's what's up.
Tiki is just like, I'm taking over. He's like doing the GTA thing to like whole other games. Like, he's just taking over a gimmick at that point. It's like, fuck that other guy, that green guy.
So this stage is all ice, and this is the stage before the last stage. It's a pretty tricky level, but you can navigate the entire level by flight. I guess you have to do it by flight, You couldn't do it without a vehicle, but
yeah.
Right here, I thought about going up and taking that UFO. That's the one time that you see the UFO right there, but oftentimes I would lose lives whenever I would try to do that, so I just decided not to do that.
Alright.
Also, whenever I recorded this run, I was trying to conserve as many lives as possible before I finished the credit. And I found at the end of this run, there wasn't a point bonus for extends.
No point bonus, no point extends.
Yeah, there's no point bonus for lives in stock,
Point bonus. Oh, I see.
Yeah. This level's incredibly difficult. All those little blocks have ice physics, and it's really tricky to get used to it. It's kind of hard to even describe, but there's definitely a whole lot of slippage that
you can tell you're struggling there even a little bit.
Yeah. And right here, I just try to keep forward momentum the entire time as much as possible, without dithering at all.
Every good platformer has to have the ice stage. It's an unwritten rule.
It really is, I don't think there is a platformer without one,
Just not even one. Yeah.
Also, these little white cloud barrier things, they're really bouncy. The Swan isn't so bouncy on them, but any other vehicle, if you touch it, it'll bounce you around in a really insane way that's hard to control.
I guess the idea is like their wind currents or something like that.
Something like that. You can definitely, lose the run to this section if
you just keep getting bounced around.
Yeah. And right here, I just keep on getting these guys to respawn these little wooden dolls, because I want them to drop a laser cannon. That's ideally what I want.
So there's nothing you can do to get certain items besides just killing enemies and hoping for.
I don't know of any way to determine the item, if that's what you're asking. Also, that was really close.
That was a shitload of dudes right at the end there.
And I don't even let the boss get one shot off. Normally he shoots mortars out of the little cannon he's holding, but with the laser gun, he can't.
That's the last boss. Is like the balloon walrus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was in the original cutscene. That's right.
Yeah, I've heard him referred to as Wally the Walrus, but apparently he's a leopard seal. And here's the story.
A leopard seal. Okay.
And he came from the Arctic, so maybe that frozen whale is like one of his buddies or something. Must be.
He's like out selling him with the cap.
And Tiki ain't happy about that.
They give you like the scene at the end. Like you have to play the game to get the story, not the scrub.
And yeah, you should know well the story after this because you would make the story after this by yourself. Man, that's deep stuff. That's super deep stuff.
They're just like, yeah, this is legit.
And yeah, I really like the repetitive street that they're walking along. If you notice, it's littered with the same businesses. It's a Starbucks sort of, situation.
Like the cactus sellers, I guess.
Yeah. Also the toy shops, there's a plethora of toy shops. I don't even know how they can stay in business with so much competition. Also, this credit music is amazing.
That was pretty good credits. Nice.
Yeah, that will be dedicated to all Maze Game fans.
Like, that's not even just like all like video maze games. It's like any maze game, right?
Yeah, maze games.
Just maze. General. Even in the background, they had like a picture of like some weird thing saying maze. So, I mean, just goes to show. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, New Zealand story, pretty awesome. I think we wrapped it up pretty nicely on that game. Nice ending as well. I like that. So we have another game we're going to talk about. It's the Liquid Kids.
Liquid Kids. And yeah, while the name may seem inappropriate, it might be interpreted that way.
Well, there's the game Toilet Kids too, but it's not Toilet Kids, it's Liquid Kids. Like, I always get those two confused for some reason.
Yeah.
Just get out of the damn toilet.
Well, I remember last time, with Bond's adventure, there was the question, is it a ghost or, so, I mean, I really don't try to do this, I'm not the one who named it. I forget the name, the Japanese name of this game. It's something like, I don't even recall.
Okay. Liquid Kids, good enough.
You can find it, if you want to know the Japanese name. Wikipedia has you covered.
So yeah, like both of these games had like their various ports. So you may have seen them on other consoles and stuff. And Liquid Kids, no exception. I believe Liquid Kids is also on the Sega Saturn.
I'm not sure about the Saturn, but it's on PC Engine.
PC Engine.
I know for sure it's on.
Maybe
PC
there wasn't
Engine.
the Saturn. I might just be making shit up there.
It might be on Saturn.
Seems
I know
like it
with
was.
New Zealand story, there's like a New Zealand story on everything. Just earlier today, Author Blues told me how he had a Kiwi craze whenever he was a younger.
Kiwi craze. Oh yeah, that's the alternate title. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's even, I think, a Commodore version, maybe Amiga, maybe both. Yeah, there's like a version of New Zealand story on everything, but with Liquid Kids, I'm not sure how many ports there are of it, but it's very similar to the New Zealand story. Some people consider it, in the same vein. The spiritual successor, some would say. And there's definitely similarities. You're going through and saving, all the people that are held captive, and ultimately saving the girl that you love.
Sorry, what game did you say it was the spiritual successor of?
The New Zealand story.
The New Zealand story. Oh, okay.
And the
really?
New Zealand story.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, you'll notice similarities if you pay attention, how, at the end of every single stage, you're rescuing a comrade.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other similarities as well. I mean, actually, I believe somewhere in Liquid Kids, Tiki actually makes an appearance.
Okay, sweet.
I'm not sure where, though. They might be referring to one of the bonus stage warp levels where the blocks that make the stage that you can navigate and climb up and down, it might make the face of Tiki. That might be what they're referring to, but I always saw that face as like a bear or something.
Okay.
But anyway.
Sure, so
so
this
Liquid
game...
Kids,
Yeah, go ahead.
in Liquid Kids, you're controlling the platypus. You know, a lot like with the New Zealand story and the Kiwi. With this game, you're a platypus, and yeah, you're rescuing all the other platypi. What would be a plural form of platypus?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's good to clarify that he is a platypus, though. I mean, just to get the facts straight on what it is.
It's funny because I'm not even certain, but that's what I believe he is.
Okay.
I believe he is a platypus. That's what he looks like.
Okay, it's not certain.
Yeah, I mean, a zoologist might be able to set it straight. I don't know.
Okay, so what's going on? What's going on in this game right now? We're throwing water balloons filled with water. I mean, that's probably the weirdest part about Liquid Kids.
Yeah,
that your weapon is a ball full of water.
I've never even understood what the weapon was. You know, I didn't know if he was literally throwing water that was like somehow suspended.
Well, it's like popping, so it's like a balloon of some sort, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. You know, I've never even thought about it, but yeah, it must be like a water balloon. Yeah, I don't know. The story kind of covers that. You know, in the beginning, it says something like transmittance of miraculous power, I believe.
All right. Yeah, he's just being like a mad wizard.
Yeah, something like that. And yeah, I guess it's unclear even where he got the power from. But yeah, basically, you know, his hometown Lake Woody Lake, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The devil causes mayhem there, and yeah, he has to just, you know, regulate.
Wait, say that again.
He has to just regulate.
Against who? The devil? Wait, what?
Yeah, against the devil and, you know, all the devil's henchmen, I guess.
Man, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, the gameplay in this is definitely not a bit nicer than New Zealand story in general. Just to make the raw comparison there, it's like a action platformer more like, and not as much a maze game. But,
yeah, this isn't a maze game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But this is a really cool stage, though. This is like this water everywhere, and you're using the water. Like the power, like, do you think that's his only power, like being able to make the water, or can he like make other shit with the power, but he doesn't choose to? Like that's what I'm wondering.
What time mark are you
at? 4:15. Oh yeah, we should maybe yeah, that's what I was watching there. In any case, but we can get into the replay at some point here.
So you haven't started the replay yet?
No, I haven't, but it's what I'm watching, showing right now.
Okay. But yeah, this is a really wacky game, you know. I don't really have much to say about the game, honestly. You know, it's just one of the cutest games I've ever seen, and that's probably one of the reasons why I wanted to play it, was because it was outrageously cute.
It's definitely got that charm going for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, why don't we jump right into the replay then?
Okay.
And we can chat some more about it. All right, I'm at 0. On go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
That's probably my favorite Taito intro.
Matt the Sprat says the soundtrack is one of Zuntata's best in the chat. That's
yeah,
that's pretty bold. I like that though. I mean, the soundtrack does seem pretty nice.
I don't know if I would say it's the best, but it's
one
definitely
of Zuntata's
not
best.
It's not average
said,
at all, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, this explains, you know, the game transmitted miraculous power.
Okay.
The savior, Hapopo, attack the devil.
They sum it up for you. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Hippopo. Like, what's with the derpy extend, like, icon there? He's just a derpy one.
That big golden bird reminds me of that one movie, The Never-Ending Adventure.
Yeah. Sorry.
It reminds me of, yeah, The Never-Ending. Yeah, that's the
goal
yeah,
in.
right there. Yeah. Saved her and then danced. Also, if you notice, if I hit the enemies while they're suspended in air with one of the bubbles and they fall, then they're eliminated and they aren't frozen. So for you to get the most points in this game, you want to freeze as many enemies in succession with them on the ground.
Okay, yeah.
You know, if they fall while they're frozen, then they're destroyed whenever they land. So, you know, it helps to make a point to pay attention to that if you are going for a score in this. And yeah, I get into the warps immediately right
More
here.
warps, oh, okay.
Yeah, this game is filled with warps as well.
Cool, and then you just like throw the thing at the little location and the warp is unveiled then?
Yeah,
as
it
well?
sprouts up and exposes the door, and then you can hop in there,
Nice.
see where it takes you.
That's fun. Warps are fun.
And yeah, I'm already at the boss. You know, normally it would have taken a bit longer to get to this boss. And also I one-cycled it, you know.
Yeah, you kicked his ass.
Yeah, normally, you know, he'll bounce around and he closes up where he's not vulnerable for a little while, but if you're fast enough and you just rapid fire, you can take him out pretty quickly. Also, if you notice, there's 2 doors at the end of each stage, so you can pick your game. You know, you can pick a hard game or you can pick an easier game, and for the most of this game, I choose the easier path. You know, I'm not taking the harder path basically anywhere, actually, because on the very last stage, you can choose to pick an even more difficult last stage than it normally would be, and I definitely don't do that. I've actually never even completed that stage.
Nice.
Not even with credit feeding, I can't beat that stage.
Oh man, so it's pretty important to try to warp, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, and it's funny because sometimes I've forgotten, because the entire game, you basically pick the same side, you pick the same door for each stage if you're, you know, taking the easy path. So it's easy to forget that the doors switch up on the last stage, and I've actually lost runs because I forgot and I went through the wrong door and then found myself in like an impossible level.
The doors can go to different stages on each run, or is that?
Yeah, at the end of each stage, there's 2 different doors.
Oh, 2
and they
doors.
take you to
Oh,
two
okay,
different,
yeah.
You know, there's 2 different stages that you can choose. There's like a hard version and an easy version, I guess.
Okay.
So, right here, I take this guy's top hat. I forget what you call these little wood or like the bird bobbin things.
Yeah, I can't
But
remember.
they're
I don't
real
know.
things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's in the Simpsons episode.
Yeah.
When Homer uses it to run the power plant from home.
Yes.
That's where, yeah. So why do you, like, what's going on with the top hat? What does that do?
It's style points, man. It's for style points. It gets the ladies on Valentine's Day.
Alright,
That's
this
what
is
it does.
the
man.
Valentine's Day strats.
But really, it's pointless, you know, because once you go through that door, you lose your hat. That's one thing that bothers me about both the New Zealand story and this game is you don't retain your power-ups or your weapons or anything once you go to the next stage. Or
that is
like if
pretty
you
big.
go through a warp, you lose that stuff. So, you know,
Yeah, I see.
that's kind of tricky. And it's the same story with this game. You know, once you go through a warp or go to the next stage, you've lost like those speed up and whatever other power-ups you might have. Also, there's 3 power-ups. There's a pistol, a bucket of water, and what's the other one? I'm drawing a blank, but they're kind of self-explanatory. The pistol makes it where you can shoot more bubbles in succession. The bucket makes it where your shot is larger, so like your bubble will be bigger than your sprite. And I forget what the other one does. and the little black choo-choo train, it makes you go faster. If you pick up the pig item, it makes you go slower.
Okay. Well, he's already
Which
pretty
makes
fat, so you probably get more fat if you get the pig.
Yeah, exactly.
Shape up.
So if you're going to like be going for score, it's important to like try to separate the power-up item on the ground if it's possible, because there are times when you can use the water to flow across the ground and to separate the two power-ups, where you can grab the pig and then grab the train, so you don't lose your speed up.
Oh man, cool.
Otherwise, if you grab the train before you grab the pig, then the pig takes your speed up away.
Okay, yeah. Good little tip
And right
there.
here, this is what I wondered if they were saying is the tiki bird, but I always saw this face as like a bear.
I don't see the tiki bird. I get. I see the bear. I see maybe a kappa frog or something too.
Yeah.
Kappa.
Maybe I skipped the stage where Tiki makes an appearance in. I really don't know.
Oh man, like trying to beat up that like freaking armored blue spiky shell guy with water bubbles. Of course, it'd take a lot of little bubbles to take him out. It's like freaking 20 bubbles.
This is one of the only warps that I found on my own. I've never seen anyone take that warp before, but one day I was just like shooting everywhere I went whenever I was playing, and I uncovered that.
All right.
And you can get a nice little chunk of points from this section, and also it's a really neat section in general, I would say.
Yeah, you just got the boat and the enemies. That's pretty
Yeah.
It seems pretty chill.
Yeah, and the music is chill as well, you know. Yeah, it's a really neat section.
Is there
one
a
tricky thing
timer
is-
for any of the stages or anything like that?
Yes, there's a timer, and you'll actually see it reach its end right here.
Oh, okay. There we go.
You hear the music change? Yeah, that's the timer. And
Okay.
I don't think I let the guy appear on screen, but if you wait around long enough, then like a Grim Reaper will show up. Also, the stage is really interesting to me because it has ambient welding sounds in the background, like that. Zzz.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, welding. I don't really, I don't know why they chose that, but yeah, really nice touch.
Kind of a harsh noise. Maybe just a prelude for the boss battle, I guess.
Yeah.
This boss, I actually remember kicking my ass pretty decently playing casually.
Yeah, this boss takes a little while to
remember
learn.
right.
You know, I actually lost a whole lot of runs on this whenever I was learning this. Yeah, it's not an easy boss.
So, like,
I
what are
learned
you
this
doing
little
here?
trick though. Like, if you gather all these guys up, they'll all go to the corner. Like, if you stay in that corner, they'll all go to that little section. You can throw your bubbles in there and bundle them all up, and actually get way more points than normal, you know, because normally they would all be separated and you wouldn't be able to get so many points, but
Oh man.
because you're bundling them all up, you
Bundle.
you get a nice little chunk. I forget how much it is, but right now I have 81k,
Wow.
and that put me over to 100k. So, and normally, you know, it would be much more drawn out to get that amount of points.
Yeah, that looks pretty substantial.
Yeah,
It seemed like just a scoring trick, like all together.
yeah, it was pretty fun finding that out, and it's also really rewarding, or like it feels good to do it whenever you were playing this, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, it doesn't give you that much more points than normal. But it's definitely something.
Yeah, that sound effect when he dies there, just like
Yeah,
just like a box of tools being dropped.
yeah. The sound effects are insane. Like, also the bosses themselves are pretty insane.
Just like it's like a shelf of rakes or something falling down.
That's a perfect description.
Look out, you beat the boss. It's cue the rakes.
And yeah, right here, I totally skipped those little green enemies. Also, that was really close. If the water wasn't beneath me right there, that little snake would have gotten me. These rock guys are pretty tricky. they jump around and they'll throw those boulders at you. So you kind of have to like track them while they're jumping. You know, you have to anticipate their jumps and keep on hitting them while they're jumping, or you know,
Wow.
they're pretty tough to deal with. Definitely one of the bigger.
She's like got a safari outfit. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's Indiana Jones.
Oh, it says like Indiana Jones friend. I see, the comrade.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's what
the
that
girl. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I like how these guys realize how defenseless they are once they like get hit enough and the boulder falls away. Like they just like, yeah, we're fucked. Good enemy.
Oh yeah, the faucet. The faucet. It makes your bubble, you know, way bigger. That's interesting because I thought that the bucket was the faucet. So I'm still unsure what the bucket does, but it's something along the same lines of like more water, you know?
Yeah. Maybe one is less strength and one's more, I don't know.
Oh, by the way, if you hold your shot button, you charge your bubble up.
Oh, cool.
Sometimes you'll notice that it'll get bigger. I'm holding the button to make it get bigger.
Can you always do that?
You can, but after you release it, you have to wait for it to disappear before you can do another one.
Oh.
So, you know, you can shoot the littler shots after you release a big one, but you have to wait for like the bigger one to dissipate before you can do another big one.
Okay.
So you can't just like rapid fire big ones. Or I guess you could, but you would have to pause between each shot, you know.
So like a special like enemy there that you killed and like point items drop down?
Yeah, I don't really know if that would be a mid-boss. I don't really even know what that enemy would be considered as, but
it did kind of seem like it was in the way.
Yeah, I mean, he just floats there and drops those enemies, and yeah, if you climb up to the top and knock off every snake, then he'll drop. And then if you get in the middle, and it's important that you jump up and make sure the screen is scrolled up as much as possible, because those items won't spawn if you don't scroll the screen up as much as possible. But if you stand in the middle of the piece of gold, the gold fountain or whatever it was that dropped, then it'll give you those 3 items.
Okay.
And yeah, it took me a while to learn what determined those items dropping, and like that you had to scroll the screen up. It was kind of frustrating not understanding what would make it happen.
Oh, whoa.
Also, it's possible to dodge those guys if you time your jumps just right, but because my shot was so powered up, I could fill up that little chamber before the game itself could fill it up, so it didn't even really matter.
Oh, interesting. Like there's a trap, like an enemy threw you into a trap. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Grim Reaper, he'll just grab you and he'll throw you to a different section of the game, and it'll make you have to go through more of this stage. You know, it's like I don't know, I guess it's like a penalty or something, you know. And now we're in a whole other world. We went to 5-1.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've never seen these other stages before.
Yeah. This stage is somewhat tricky. You know, I just lost a life there. Those guys are especially tricky because they can soak up all your shots with the net. If you time your shot just right as they exit the door, then you can get them before they can, you know, start swallowing your shots. But yeah, otherwise they're pretty tricky. Also, those green dragons, you know, they'll spit fire. But if you hit the fire on the ground with your water, then you can put the fire out before it'll get you.
Oh, nice springs.
Yeah, the springs are kind of weird. Like, you can hit your head on the ceiling of the stage, and it'll like mess up your forward momentum. It's kind of tricky. And yeah, this stage is a bit tricky in sections. Also, some unique enemies.
Ah.
And this plant, I don't know how to determine that, but the plant, whenever you make it sprout, the flower at the top, it can be that flower that spits out the point items like the desserts, or it can be like a grotesque flower that spits out projectiles that will hurt you if they touch you.
Oh man, devil apples.
And I'm not sure how to determine that. And yeah, you know, all these bad apples.
Death Smiles had some devil apples.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Death Smiles copied Liquid Kids.
You heard it here, folks. It's official. Cave has some explaining to do.
Yep. What the fuck?
Yes,
I just had to realize what I was looking at for a second.
I guess some type of nest. And yeah, if you take him out as he's pulling himself up on one arm, if you break that arm, then he'll fall. So I took him out way quicker than normally.
So is this still stage 5 or is it 6 now?
I believe this is World 6 now.
World 6, yeah. Oh wow, man, lightning enemies.
And yeah, this world's pretty tricky. On this stage, no, not this stage, but in this world, I do some kind of strange tricks that I'll explain whenever we get to. Right there, I made a point to sprout the plant where it would protect me from the enemies going overhead, because otherwise, you know, they would drop stuff on you. Also, these little blue police guys, I guess that's what they are. I refer to them as police.
Yeah.
They'll throw little javelins at you, so it's important to be mindful of that. I've always liked this stage a lot. I thought the design was really cool.
These enemies are cool.
Yeah, the weird little glass ducks.
Yeah, that's pretty unique. No one expects the glass duck.
I'm not sure why they make those ice blocks. It's funny because they kind of help you, because they'll build those ice blocks in the corner and they'll pin that the blue spiky guy in the corner where he can't get out. But otherwise, no. I don't really know what the ice does, you know, because you can just walk through the ice. It doesn't hurt you. And right here, I made a point to go down and spawn those items, because those items make this last boss a cinch. Without those items, the last boss isn't as easy. Even making it to him isn't as easy without those power-ups. And like I said, the power-ups are only temporary for each stage, so, you know, it's important to get the power-ups whenever you need them. And right there, I despawned the blue spiky guy by making him come on screen and then moving to the left. I just make him disappear, because otherwise, I guess this is the only section of the game that is maze-like, and yeah, I've never been able to make it through that by confronting him, you know, so the only way that I could ever make it through that section of the stage just was despawning the blue spiky guys. And yeah, this is a pretty interesting enemy. He, I guess, creates all those police guys. One giant police guy.
Makes sense.
And now is the boss fight. What I try to do here is I try to rapid fire as much as possible before he stops at the end. Whenever he stops, you know, he spits fire down, and depending on where he stops, he can drop the fire on the platform or on the ground. And ideally, you would want him to drop it on the platform that's suspended, because you can stay on the lower level and still hit him that way.
Yeah.
And right there, if you notice, I made a point to take the right door opposed to the left door, because the left door will take you to the impossibly difficult level.
Okay.
What's so difficult about that level is these enemies, these like little jester clown guys, there's a section in the harder level where 3 of them are on screen at once, and they all swoop at different times and from different sides. And also, the area that you have to navigate is really confined. It's an incredibly difficult section of the game, and I've never been able to get through it.
Huh, crazy.
But right here, I just lured them to the corner, and basically they can't hit you as long as you don't get too greedy.
Alright.
And yeah, whenever they swoop, that's whenever you want to start firing. But it is possible that if you get too greedy and you fire too much, you'll push them far enough away that the rest of their swoop will hit you.
So fight them cautiously is probably the moral
That
there.
was a really weird door entrance. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but because the water was flowing across the door and I injured it, it did some type of like weird warp thing where the animation didn't really play for me going through the door correctly. I've never seen that before. Yeah, this stage is all about like knowing where enemies are gonna be. And even then, you know, I lost the life even though I knew and anticipated the enemy.
Yeah, it's like kept going out.
Yeah, there's multiple spawns that you trigger whenever you're going through this section. And yeah, this section is really difficult. I might actually lose another life here. Yeah.
Damn.
And yeah, you know, those red guys going through there and the weird orange octopi guys that shoot the stuff in multiple directions. Yeah, it's really tough to get through that section.
Yeah, that was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They did have that
Luckily,
lightning
I had,
power up there.
Yeah, the lightning power-up clears everything on screen. You only see it a few times in the game. I guess you can, you know, get it to randomly spawn also, but yeah, normally you don't see it very often.
Yeah, what did you get for like the last enemy killed in that chain? Like 8,000 points or something? It looked like the last number was particularly high, but maybe I was just reading the numbers wrong.
I'm not sure.
Maybe 800, and then maxed
It probably
there.
was. I mean, like I said, you know, the key to scoring in this is lining enemies up in succession. So
Yeah.
the more that you can pile up, the more that it'll be. I forget what the maximum value is for the enemies, but I think it's something like 100,000 or 10,000. It's something like that where, you know, if you could continuously do that.
That's high, huh?
Yeah. And right here, I was very careful to only spawn those 2 guys, because if you keep walking forward to confront them, the guy will spawn behind you.
Oh yeah, they take a bunch of hits, huh?
Yeah, and then it's like you're sandwiched between those 2 guys.
Oh man, 4 trains.
Super speed, yeah. Super speed up. And I got really lucky there. The way that those clown magicians spawn is random, and sometimes they can totally spawn in the path that it takes to, you know, get to where you need to go, and makes it impossible, basically. I've had runs in there quite often as well. It's funny because this is right before the boss, and I'm like searching around for some type of trigger to make some power-up appear, because, you know, I went through a door, so all my power-ups are gone.
Oh.
But yeah, this is the last boss, the devil himself.
Oh man.
The
He's got a party hat and everything.
Yeah.
Apparently he's just having a party and you're crashing the party. Like, damn.
I should mention that whenever you lose a life on the last boss, the next life, it resumes the amount of damage that you've done. So
That's
you
fair.
don't lose the progress that you've done on the boss. Yeah, it is really fair.
Nice. Oh man, what do you do about that?
Man,
Just nothing.
it's rough. Well, yeah, what you do is you fire.
Oh, you'd have to make like
You
fire
have to
really
eliminate.
preemptively there.
Yeah, you have to eliminate the fire. I mean, it's possible to do it in the air, like when it's right in front of your face,
Yeah.
but it's tricky. I mean, it doesn't
whoa.
always work.
Another phase. All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
This is the coolest boss fight in my opinion, and yeah, if you notice, what I did there was, whenever he's moving, if you hit him, he'll like fly to the edge of the screen. But whenever he starts spitting fire straight down, he's like locked in that position. So then you can like mash fire on him then, and all your shots will hit him. And that's actually the fastest I've ever killed the last boss.
Nice.
Normally I have to go around multiple times because his arms often take the shot instead of like the middle hitbox. His arms will soak it up. But yeah, that's Liquid Kids.
Nice.
Took back the water paradise, Woody Lake from the Devil's Hands. The legend attracts the brave, creating a new legend.
A brave.
And after this, forever. Shout outs to the Mizubaku project team.
I don't know, like this game is almost like on what the fuck? JJ Squawker's levels of like in
that's
depth
wacky.
and wackiness.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. Definitely out there.
Like this is definitely JJ Squawker's tier.
For sure. Also, shout outs to Santa Claus in the design. You did a great job.
Just straight up Santa Claus helped out. Well, everyone needs a little help from Santa Claus sometimes.
For sure. For sure. This piece is forever.
Wow, well, it's a good ending. Good ending.
Yeah.
Man, Mizubaku team, I've never heard of that team before.
Yeah, good stuff.
I wonder if anyone knows about them.
Yeah, I wonder what they're up to these days.
Probably making mobile games.
Yeah, you're probably right. They might be watching. Shout outs to them if they are.
Yeah. Like, oh man, finally someone's paying attention to New Zealand starting the Liquid Kids. They know their spiritual successors. It's our day. It's our day.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, so GG on that. It was a pretty fun run to watch.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing both of the runs, of course.
For sure.
It was fun to check out.
It was a pleasure. Yeah,
Definitely
I'm glad to show these off. I mean, if it helps more people find out about a new awesome game.
They're both pretty good games, I would say.
Yeah, definitely worth looking into. I mean, definitely worth playing a few credits and seeing what you think about it. I definitely had fun playing the game and learning it. I mean, they're definitely special games.
Definitely. Awesome. Cool. Well, this has been fun doing the two games for Awesome Game Replays episode 17.
Indeed. Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Yep. And we had a little problems recording the first time, but you know what? We
that's how the maze goes, man.
Yes. The challenge of the maze
was... Whenever you make a wrong turn, you just got to start over.
The challenge of the maze was presented, and we've now succeeded and reached the end of the episode, so yeah. All is well. All is well.
Indeed.
Okay, so that's going to wrap it up. Thanks, everyone, for coming by, and till next time.
And happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day.